Hello children, today we are going to learn a new supplementary lesson, the Christmas Truce, written by Aaron Shepherd. Look at the picture children. These are the festivals of India. Can you list out the names of these festivals? Come on, make a try. Now, look at this picture. What festival is this? Very good. It is Pongal. It is a harvesting festival of Tamil Nadu. Come on, look at this picture. What is this? Come on, make a try. Very good children. It is Diwali. Now look at the picture. What festival is this? It is Christmas. Very good children. You are very smart. Now look at this picture. What festival is this? It is Ramzan. Very good children. We all enjoy celebrating festivals, right? We wear new dress, burn crackers, share sweets, cakes and biryani, what not. Yes, we rejoice with our family, our friends and relatives. Yes, we cherish the moments. Yes, it is really very interesting to celebrate all these festivals. Have you ever celebrated festivals with your enemies? My question seems to be very weird, right? How can I celebrate festival with my enemy? Why ma'am you are asking this question? Yes, today we are going to enjoy the supplementary lesson where we find Great Britain and Germany, they are celebrating the Christmas Eve together. Okay? This Christmas truce was actually a real incident that happened during the First World War. Let us see. It is a fictitious story that is added to the real incident by the author. The First World War began in the year 1914 and lasted until 1918. In this war, we could find Germany in one side and Great Britain in the other side. Two sides. One is Great Britain, the other side is Germany. Germany versus Great Britain, right? Central power versus Allied power. Let us see. First, let's know something about the author. Okay? Aaron Shepherd was born on October 7, 1950. He is the award-winning author of Savitri, A Tale of Ancient India, The Legend of Lightning Larry, The Sea King's Daughter. He is known for retelling folk tales and other traditional literature from around the world. He takes a folk tale from a country and he adds his own imagination and gives a beautiful story. He is honored by the American Library Association, the National Council for the Social Studies, the American Folklore Society, the New York Public Library and the Bank Street College of Education. Before getting entered into this lesson, let's learn the new words first. Okay? The first word is truce, an agreement between enemies or opponents to stop fighting or arguing for a certain time. In Tamil, we call it as Tarkaliga Yuddha Nirtham. Okay? For certain time, they will be stopping the fight. Okay? For example, after many years of rivalry, the two countries have agreed a truce, dugout. It is a shelter usually for soldiers made by digging a hole in the ground and covering it. Okay? Children, we are safe at home. But do you think of soldiers? Yes. It is not possible for them to stay at home, right? So, they need a shelter. So, they dig the ground and make dugouts to take some rest there. For example, a soldier is in his dugout. Trench, a deep hole dug by soldiers and used as a place which they can attack the enemy while being hidden. Okay? Children, it is not possible for the soldiers to stand on the ground and fight with the enemies. It is not possible. They'll shoot at you, right? So, they have this trenches. They'll hide inside and now and then they'll come out and they'll shoot and they'll hide themselves. Okay? For example, the soldiers are sitting in fixed trenches and started firing. Now, to show you the difference between the trench and the dugout, I'm going to show you a video clipping. Okay? This video clipping is from Charlie Chaplin's movie. Here you could see the trench and dugout. Look at the picture. Yes. Now Charlie Chaplin is walking in the trench. Okay. Now he is getting entered into the dugout. Because of rain, the dugout is filled with muddy water. Now you know the difference between a trench and a dugout. Yes? Very good. Scarce. Hardly. The meaning is almost not. If I give you example, you can understand it very clearly, right? Look at the example. I could scarce believe my eyes. What is the meaning? I cannot believe my eyes. That is the meaning, almost not. Carol. It is a happy or religious song, usually one sung at Christmas. You might have seen these carols during the month of December, right? The choir singing carols and going along in the streets, and Santa Claus giving us candies and chocolates, right? We enjoyed that. For example, Silent Night is my favorite Christmas carol. Now we can visualize the carol Silent Night. Come on.
Silent night, holy night, all is dark.
The next word is artillery shell. Ammunition consisting of a cylindrical metal casing containing an explosive charge and a projectile fired from a large gun. What is that large gun? In Tamil we call it as Birangi. Okay? Artillery is Birangi and artillery shell is actually Birangi Gundu. For example, look at the picture. The soldier is loading the shell in the artillery. Then what will happen? He will load the shell inside the artillery, and then if it is operated, it will explode in the other part of the region. Okay? The next word is maim. Wound or injure so that part of the body is permanently damaged. Okay? Injury or wound. Look at the picture. They are carrying the maimed soldier. For example, a doctor is providing first aid to the maimed soldier. The next word is sniper. Someone who shoots at people from a place where they cannot be seen. They'll hide themselves and they'll attack the enemies. These snipers wait for the soldiers to raise their heads from the trenches. When they see, they'll immediately shoot the enemies. Okay? For example, a soldier is helping another soldier who was shot and fatally injured by a sniper. Splatter. A splash of liquid, mud, etc. See the video? This is splash, right? And that is splatter. For example, look at the picture. Now you can understand. His car was covered in mud splatters. Muck. Look at the picture. Dirt, rubbish or waste matter. It is really disgusting to look at it, right? For example, look at the picture. The kids were covered in muck. See, my God, it's terrible to see the children covered in the muck, right? Barbed wire. A type of strong wire with sharp points on it, used to prevent people or animals from entering or leaving a place. Actually, it is called as fence, okay? In the fence, this barbed wire is used to make a fence. For example, his land is fenced with barbed wire. Look at the picture. You have seen this barbed wire, right? Even in the borders, country borders also, they use this barbed wire to make a fence. Stumble. To step awkwardly while walking or running and fall or begin to fall. This happens. The teacher will ask you to bring your note. And what happens? You'll just try to run and you'll get stumble there. It happens very often. We lose our balance and tend to fall like moment, and that is called as stumble. Look at the video, you can understand. The sudden weakness in his legs made him to stumble. Bewilderment. The state of being lost, perplexed or confused. See, you have scored very low marks in mathematics and your mathematics teacher is telling very good. Then you will get confusion. That is bewilderment. Okay? For example, she looked at them in utter bewilderment. So look at the picture. She looks confused. What is going on? Right? That is bewilderment. Beacon. a fire or light set up in a high or prominent position as a warning, signal or celebration. In Tamil, we call it as Kalangarai Vilakkam, right? For fishermen, it serves as a guide to reach the shore. For example, the blink of beacon could be seen for miles. Yes, in the night, it is visible even if you are far away from the beacon. You could visualize that. Applaud. What is applaud? Show approval or praise by clapping your hands. That is applaud. We give strong approval for a person by clapping our hands. For example, the audience warmly applauded when the performance came to an end. Sentry. A soldier who guards a place and prevents those who are not allowed in from entering. Okay? They are actually soldiers. Just for the sake of protection, the sentry will not allow any person without proper permission. Okay? They will guard the place. For example, sentries stood guard at the palace. Okay? So that they will not make anyone to enter into the palace. Bonfire. A large fire that is made outside for pleasure. In the olden days in Europe, people burnt animal bones to ward off evil spirit. What is that ward off evil spirit? To chase evil spirits. This is actually superstitious belief. Okay. Later, that is used for celebration. Usually, we have campfire in the NSS camps, but a bonfire is massive or bigger than the campfire. For example, the bonfire blazed away for hours and children enjoyed a lot. Sausage. A thin tube-like case containing meat that has been cut into very small pieces and mixed with spices. As we have aviyal poriyal in Tamil Nadu, these Germans, they have sausages. Okay. For example, he likes sausage stuffed bread. Look at the picture. This is actually sausage stuffed bread. Souvenir. A thing that is kept as a reminder of a person, place or event. We carry something just as a remembrance. Look at the picture. These are Tanjavur dolls. Whenever we go to Tanjavur, we used to buy all these things. Okay. Just as a souvenir. That is remembrance. For example, I bought this ring as a souvenir of Greece. Okay. Clutch. That is grasp something tightly. Look at me. This is clutch. For example, the girl clutched her doll to her breast. Look at the girl in the picture. She holds it very tight, and that is called as a clutch. Shirk. To avoid work, duties or responsibilities, especially if they are difficult or unpleasant. Sometimes if we have too many homeworks, we become a shirk. But we should not forget that it is our responsibility to do our homework sincerely. For example, you can't shirk. It is your duty. So, we cannot escape from doing homeworks. It is our responsibility to do our homework sincerely. Dispute. A disagreement or argument. Look at the video. A heated argument is going on between the couple. Okay, that is actually called as dispute. For example, don't let a little dispute break up a great friendship. Okay, friendship is actually need of the hour. We should not break up that because of these disputes. Reprisal. An act of damage or injury against an enemy in reaction to an act of damage or injury done to you. In Tamil, we say it as palikku pali. This for that. If you do this, I'll do that. Okay, that is called as reprisal. For example, the attack was in reprisal for the kidnapping of their leaders. Now, let us see the summary of this lesson. War is really a sad thing. Do we love war? No, not at all, right? The anger and hatred, the misery, the loss. But even during all of this, stories of love, of family, of peace can be found. This is a beautiful story of some of that peace told through a letter from Janet's brother Tom, a British soldier who was part of this unofficial truce. Okay, So in those days they wrote letters. Okay, today we have so many varieties of social media, but those days it was emotionally connected, right? Writing letter is actually emotional connection. Okay, now let us see what this Tom, British soldier, writes in his letter to his sister Janet. The Christmas truce, actually it was unofficial Christmas truce. Okay, it happened in the year 1914. Actually the incident was true, but adding all these letters, the character Tom, Janet, all these things are the imagination of the author. Christmas truce, the brief stopping of fighting over Christmas in 1914, was a wonderful and spontaneous moment in time involving soldiers and officers from both sides, that is British and German. Tom, a British soldier, writes a letter to his sister Janet to share the magic of the Christmas night he spent with the German soldiers. He writes the letter when he is in the dugout. We know what is a dugout, right? He says that he spent the Christmas night by singing Christmas carol with the enemy soldiers. Now let's see how they celebrated Christmas Eve. What is Christmas Eve? The day before the Christmas is called as Christmas Eve. Now he starts writing like this. My dear sister Janet, it is 2 in the morning. See, 2 o'clock in the morning, and most of our men are asleep in their dugouts. As I told you, dugouts are shelters for soldiers. So this Tom, the character Tom, is resting inside his dugout. I could not sleep writing to you about what happened here on Christmas Eve. Now he tries to say something about that happened during the Christmas Eve. In truth, what happened seems like a fairy tale. What is that fairy tale? It is like magical stories. See, in usually when we start talking to our friends, we used to say, it was like a movie, man, right? In the same manner, Tom is also saying to his sister that it was like a fairy tale. It was like a magical story. This and that happened. I could scarcely believe it. See, I couldn't believe what happened on that day. We sang carols with enemy soldiers. Is it possible to sing carols with enemy soldiers? You, dear sister Janet, believe me, I sang carols with the enemy soldiers, and that is German soldiers. The first battle of the war left many dead. That war is held back until replacements come from home. What is that replacement? A soldier may be nearby us when he is wounded or when he is killed. The replacement, okay, the next soldier will come there and occupy that place. Okay, so these soldiers are waiting for their replacement. So the next set of soldiers will be coming there. Here any moment artillery shell might explode, killing and maiming several men. See, we have to be very alert. Any time the artillery shell may come and fall and it may explode, okay, so that the soldiers will be killed or the soldiers will be maimed. Okay, what is that maimed? Wounded or injured. In daylight too, we are afraid of sniper's bullet. What is that sniper's bullet? No, they will be hiding in one place and they will be shooting at you. See, we are not able to raise our heads from the trenches even at the daytime, because the snipers may at any time shoot at you. So we have to be very careful even in the daytime. It has rained almost daily and our trenches become muddy. Not only our trenches, the Germans too face the same danger. Okay, so there is continuous rainfall in the battlefield. Their first trench, whose first trench? Germans' first trench was only 50 yards from us. Even it is not 50 meters, only 50 yards from us. Okay, a barbed wire bordered both sides. It is a fence between the two countries. Okay, we sometimes are able to hear their voice. These British soldiers, they are able to hear the German soldiers' voice. So Here the author says that these British soldiers are very close to these German soldiers. Yesterday morning, Christmas Eve, as I told you, what is Christmas Eve? The day before the Christmas. Yesterday morning, Christmas Eve day, we had our first good freeze. Okay, he is now talking about the weather condition of that place. Perfect Christmas weather. It is very cold. As darkness fell, the shooting stopped entirely. Okay, when the darkness started, there is no shooting. I went to sleep. Who? Tom went to sleep. John woke me up, asked me to come and see what the Germans were doing. See, his friend John is coming and waking up Tom. Come on, Tom, get up, man. See what Germans are doing. Okay, now Tom is rushing to find what is happening there. Clusters of tiny lights were shining all along the German line. See, during Kartige festival, you could see the clusters of tiny lights everywhere, right? In the same manner, clusters of tiny lights were shining all along the German line. It was the Christmas trees. What was those clusters? They were Christmas trees of German. They sang Silent Night, Holy Night in German language. Our mother tongue is Tamil, and German, what will they speak? They speak German language. Okay, here they sing this Silent Night. As I played you in the beginning, the same song was sung by German soldiers in their own language. Okay, so we British soldiers applauded them. All the British soldiers in their trenches, they started applauding the German soldiers. One of our soldiers jokingly said, we then heard a voice from German soldiers. Okay, from that side, I could hear a sound. What is it telling? You no shoot, we no shoot. See, broken English. Okay, actually, the Germany people, they speak German and they are poor in English. Even we are poor in English, right? So, it is not our native language. See, here German people, German soldiers are speaking in English. One person is telling from that side, you no shoot, we no shoot. The meaning is, see, you stop shooting and we'll also stop shooting. Okay, one of our soldiers jokingly said, you come over here. Man, you are telling not to shoot, then come here. Who is telling this? A British soldier is telling, come here then. Okay, two figures rose from a trench and climbed over the barbed wire. After he says, you come here, that was actually jokingly he said. But here really two German soldiers started climbing on the fence. Okay, they came out of the trench and they were climbing the barbed wire. He asked us to send our officer to talk. Those two German soldiers asking the British soldiers to send their captains, ask your officer to come. Our soldiers lifted their rifles, but the captain called out to hold the fire and went to meet the Germans halfway. So, even they are talking from this side and that side, still they should be very alert. Okay, this is the life of soldiers. They have to be very alert at any time. So, here the British soldiers are ready with their rifles. See, if they start attacking, you have to attack back. Okay, now the captain of British soldiers is telling, see, hold the fire. Okay, now I'll go there, I'll meet them and I'll come back. Okay, now the captain came and informed us that there would be no shooting before midnight the next day. But the sentries are informed to remain on duty and the rest to stay alert. Over 100 of soldiers and officers of each side shook hands. See what is happening? German soldiers, British soldiers, enemy countries, right? And now these both officers and soldiers are shaking their hands. What is happening? Most of the Germans knew English as they have worked in England before. So, these English soldiers are not able to speak in German language. But these German soldiers are able to speak in English because once they have worked in England. Okay. We built a bonfire and around it we mingled, and they were enjoying the Christmas Eve. A German soldier showed me a picture of his family in Munich. Munich is a place in Germany. He happily gave me his family's address. This soldier is also giving his family address to Tom. We exchanged gifts, tea for their coffee and a corn meat for their sausage. Badges and buttons were exchanged. Okay, they were very happy. They are exchanging their food items and their badges and buttons. Okay, they were very happy. I traded a jackknife for a leather equipment belt, and it is a fine souvenir to show you all. Here Tom exchanges a leather belt with a knife. So he gets a knife from a soldier. An older German clutched my arm and asked why we cannot have peace and all go home. See, this is the expectation of the soldiers. Okay, Tom says, you ask it to your emperor. Okay, instead of asking me, you can better ask your emperor. He again looked at me and said that we must ask our own hearts. Okay, this is actually given by the author. Each and every one of us has to think whether we need war. There has never been such a Christmas Eve in all history. Okay, both of the armies are obliged to follow the orders of the superiors. If the superior asks you to shoot, you have to shoot. But still, they enjoyed a lot in that Christmas Eve. And finally, this is the author's note. Would not all wars end at once? Tom is asking, would not all wars end at once? Why this war? All nations say they want peace. Are they following? There are so many wars are going all around our world. Okay, I wonder if we want it quite enough. So I need peace. So Tom is writing to his sister, I need peace. Okay, and finally he says, your loving brother Tom. Okay, and finally I'd like to end with the quote of Benjamin Franklin. There was never a good war or a bad peace. Okay, a war is actually bad and a peace is always good. So we have to expect only peace in the country and all through this world. Now it is time for evaluation. Okay, the first question, what does the story highlight? Second, when was this letter written and to whom was it written? Third, why did the British soldiers not dare to lift their heads above the ground? Number 4, what happened to a new recruit in the dugouts? Number 5, how did Germans place their Christmas trees? Okay children, thank you very much. Thank you for your attention. And the one thing I have to say is spread love and not war. Okay, catch you in the next video. Bye.